Don't you hate wrestling with predictability? The garbage man, the sexy boy, boring ass TV? How did I get to work in here? Somebody tell me, please. The WWF is confusing to me. With Vince as mean as you've ever seen. I told old Patterson I'm done here in June. When a sudden voice inside me whispered, Vinny, don't sell your dream so soon. And everywhere I look, there's a Ted with a hand to hold on to. And everywhere I look, there's a place and a promotion who needs you. And it's there you'll book when you're lost out there and you're all alone. And WCW's waiting to carry you home. It's there you'll book. And it's there I'll book. A doobity-ba-ba-ba, headed to Atlanta and listen to this podcast. It's all right, even though it fucking makes fun of everything I've ever done.
Backbone Wrestling Network, welcome back to episode 38 of Are You Smarter Than Vince Russo's WCW? I'm Scott Shiflett, and joining me, as always, the man who called this episode of Thunder that we're about to discuss the most Russo-rific show we've watched so far, the backbone of the backbone himself, Logan Crossland. Logan, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. A little tired. Had to wake up a little early for work this morning, so I'm feeling it a little bit. I'm going to try to power through. But yeah, this is, we're going to get to the number of things that happened at the end of the episode, and it's not going to sound like very many, and it's actually probably a record for low, but the things that do happen within those things, a lot happens is what I'll say. So, there may not be a big number there at the end, but within those things that do happen is a lot happening, I'll say.
Yeah. As we discussed, off air, and I'm just going to say it now. Logan does the one that counts the cut, like how many different things happen, because thank God I would lose my mind. And he counts it with different cuts. And as you'll see, I guess Russo thought he was on our tour tonight and was doing long shots and not many cuts as he normally does. But yeah, it's this is probably the most batshit insane episode of wrestling I think I've ever seen, Logan. And I've seen some shit. Probably not as much as you guys cover on Highway to Impact Zone every other Thursday here, because that's a lot of Vince Russo inspired. But I remember, like, I watched this yesterday and today, and I was like, oh, this is like, it flows pretty smoothly. Like it's quick watch, an hour 30. And the last part I messaged you was like, well, that was an ending, and we'll get to that, guys. But we got to strap in here because we're at the go home show for Slamboree. Yes, David Arquette is still our world champion. He doesn't even really show up tonight. You see him a little bit, but we'll get to that. I will say I enjoyed this opening, Logan, that we're about to get into. So we're seeing our battle lines being drawn again, and we'll see how that goes. But so the show starts off where we see highlights of this past Monday's Nitro with everything that's happened. We're in Memphis tonight. I wonder if they were in the Pyramid, Logan, which is now what a Now Bass Pro Shop.
A Bass Pro Shop, and there's a little like hotel inside of it as well.
Yeah,
I've stayed in it actually.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I think they're in Mid-South Coliseum, which I didn't even know was still around in 2000, but there we go. But we see the Millionaires Club, and as Tony calls them, some allies waiting for Russo and Bischoff to show up. We see him like standing in front of a garage door. Tony says the war zone is clear cut, and tonight there's 3 men in a triple cage. Tenay says it's the most dangerous cage in pro wrestling. I don't know about all that. Tony, and then he says Kidman versus Hogan with Eric as a special ref for Slamboree. Douglas versus Flair, and if Russo interferes, then Flair gets 5 minutes with him, and Russo has already said he will interfere. So I said, why have the stipulation? And then we go back and we see Horace Hogan watching the door, and he says that Eric and Russo are here. Limo pulls up, and the gate opens, and we see the Millionaire Club who rush to the limo. They actually pull out Eric and Russo, and Shane Douglas is there, Buff Bagwell, and Jeff Jarrett. They actually beat down the New Blood, the Millionaire Club, and the Allies. And like this battle continues, they're battling outside, and then we get to a commercial break. Logan, I will say this is a hot opening. It shows like we're going to war tonight, and this is what I think Raw and Thunder, Nitro and Thunder should have been since April 17th, but it really hasn't. It should have been all out war like this, and it seems like they're reattaching to their mission statement, but like as we see, it's not a good mission statement. What do you think of this opening?
Yeah, I thought the idea of starting with like kind of a big, huge brawl was not a bad idea. They actually did that on Nitro as well, because this when Hogan drives the car into the limo and they have the big brawl out in the parking lot again. So they seem to be establishing.
Yeah, but that was only like 3 of them.
Yeah,
but that was only 3 of them on each side. So like,
yeah, but I'm just saying they're starting to do this thing where they like the battle lines are drawn right off the bat. So yeah, I like the idea of it. Definitely fucking Bischoff and Russo just kind of get chucked out of the way because I have a feeling they didn't really want to get quote unquote beat up. But yeah, they really take it to the New Blood guys in the limo as soon as they get out. So yeah, solid start. And if we can get this kind of chaos to start the shows more often, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, and you can definitely tell with everyone wearing New Blood shirts now, they're trying to market them as like the NWO, but the logo just sucks. It's not as cool as the NWO. It kind of makes me want to have a New Blood t-shirt, Logan. Like, so I'm pretty sure no one has those for good reason. But it'd be up there with our Coach Buzz shirts that I looked at, and the 3 count shirts.
Yeah,
that I'm going to get us one day.
Buzz Stern shirt, so. Still waiting on that.
Yeah, I know. I'm slacking. No, that's on me. I did tell you I would buy it. Maybe that would be like the gift for when we finish the podcast. I'll just get you all the shirts that I promised you, like a dad once a year.
like Sean.
Yes, like Sean. Love you, buddy. So we have a commercial break. We come back. We see what just happened, and then we see Russo walk into, the New Blood locker room, and he yells at Awesome, Kidman, Vampiro, and Kat. He says, "What were you doing, watching TV? You didn't see us get our ass beat?" And Russo says, "Get off your asses. We got business to take care of." All the New Blood walks to the ring. They all get in the ring. Russo says, "Cut the damn music," and says, "Millionaire Club, are you kidding me or what?" Says, "Eric, do they know who you are?" Russo calls out the Millionaires Club to the stage right now. Millionaire Club and the Friends come out. The Friends are like Canyon, Horace Hogan, Hugh Morris. It's pretty much it on the Friends side. Russo says these people cheer you because they are scum. Russo says he will smack the smile off of Flair's face tonight. Russo says tonight will be gang warfare. He says they will pull names out of a shoe, and the new blood will pull names out of a shoe and will beat your ass individually. He said tonight is New York rules, which means there are no rules, no refs. You beat the guy, you count it. What do you say, slick dick? He's so funny. Ric Flair says, "Do you see who you're talking to, dipshit?" Flair says, "Vince, my God, Russo." He's talking to a collection of the greatest wrestlers ever. Me too. And he says he will shove that boot up their asses. And then another brawl breaks out as the Millionaire Club chases the ring. We see Russo and Eric get away. Security and police break up everyone. Tony says, tonight there's no rules, there's no refs, which they've already said like there was no DQs, then like DQs get called. So it's like we're going even further now. We're not paying the refs tonight. So another hot segment, Logan. Like I enjoyed this. Like Russo really like he thinks cutting a good promo is like just being like a heel and cursing, but Flair was pretty good. I like the dipshit comment like you did, but it is gang warfare tonight. Like you thought Russo would get the gang warfare out of his system with NOD, Los Barricos, and the Disciples of Apocalypse, but now it's New Blood and the Millionaires Club. So he's doing a little bit better right here, but I don't know if that will continue as the night goes on.
Yeah, who knew Crush / Brian Adams would be part of both gang warfares? What a lucky bastard he was.
Oh yeah, Chronic's out there too. And yeah,
but yeah, Flair's another fired up promo from him. Maybe not as good as I don't remember if it was Thunder. I think it was Thunder the previous week. There he had the really good promo.
It was Thunder.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the previous week he had the really good promo. So this one wasn't quite as good as it. It didn't last quite as long as it either. But called Russo a dipshit. The funny thing I thought is the Millionaires Club comes out to American Made, which is Hulk Hogan's theme song, or Terry Bollea, whatever you want to call him, as Shivani may call him later. But they come out to Hulk Hogan's music, and Hulk Hogan is nowhere to be seen. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, the New York rules, basically no matches. So I don't know if you counted matches as what the fights ended up happening, but really no matches tonight. So you really don't even have to do clean finishes and all that good stuff. So.
Well, I did. And
yeah,
I counted them as all gimmick matches.
Yeah.
And then there's a gimmick match within a gimmick match, which is interesting. But Hogan did come out. He came out with Horace Hogan at the very end, which is weird. He's not front and center because it's Hulk Hogan. But he came out at the very end.
Gotcha.
Chronic was also wearing like these horrible rave t-shirts where it's like just mesh. It's like the Right Said Fred video, I'm too sexy for my shirt. That's basically what they're wearing.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good look on anyone, especially Chronic. But yeah, it's fun. But so we go to commercial. We come back, and Jeff Jarrett music hits, and out comes Jeff and Kimberly. Jeff gets on the mic and says he's going to make this short and sweet. He says, "Canyon, surprise, surprise. The chosen one has picked your ass out here." Says, "Get your slap ass out now." Then Kimberly gets on the mic, and I'm just going to preface this by I'm just going to read you verbatim what Logan sent me, guys.
You don't have to share that.
No, he didn't say anything too bad. He's compared to the other stuff we send each other. Kim Page is ridiculously hot, but I do not care about her being a character that cuts promos. And I was like, what is he talking about? Because I hadn't watched it yet, and then I watched it, and I knew immediately. Like, Kim looks amazing. Fucking dime. 10 out of 10 here.
Fucking Hachi Machi, Roll Tide, whatever you want to say. She looks amazing, but doesn't need to go further than that.
Yeah, it doesn't need to go further. But sadly, we're completionists here, as Logan is still doing Highway and Impact Zone, and I'm somehow still doing this podcast of 38 episodes. She says, Paige, honey, says she's been talking to Eric, and she realizes DDP isn't good enough for me. Says she's smart, hot, and young, and you're a bum. Not wrong. Says everything DDP has achieved is because of Eric, and him becoming a man is because of her. Can Kimberly make me a man, Lynn? And then says DDP is lame as all the wrestling marks out here. And then she says that we need to go through the divorce because it's all about moi. And like, to be honest, the crowd did not really give a fuck about this. It's like when you see a hot girl and she starts talking and you're like, this is the dumbest bitch I've ever met. And you're like, the attractiveness goes down. That's what I felt with that. So Canyon runs out. What are you about to say?
No, I was just laughing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Canyon runs out, and we got match one, Logan, in the first of the New York knockout rules, or whatever the hell he was. But Jeff meets him in the aisle. They battle in the aisle. Jeff throws Canyon in the guardrail and drops him throat first on the rail. Jeff throws Canyon in the ring and beats him around the ring. Canyon ducks a clothesline and hits a Russian leg sweep. He then punches Jeff, and Jeff reverses an Irish whip and eats a boot. Canyon hits a leg drop type maneuver on Jeff from the top rope. I don't really know what it was. It looked pretty dope, but
yeah.
Do you have any idea what that was?
I can't remember if it has a special name or anything, but it did look really cool, as most things that Canyon does. So. Yep.
He's the fucking innovator of offense for a reason, Logan.
That's correct.
So Canyon goes up top and he misses a splash. Jeff Lynn rushes Canyon. Canyon knocks him out of the ring. Jeff follows him. He slams Canyon into the steps and throws him into the crowd. Then a pretty cool move. Jeff snapmares Canyon back into the ring area, and he hits Canyon with a chair shot. Jeff throws Canyon back in the ring. Canyon blocks a hip toss and hits a net breaker of his own. Canyon then gets Jeff in the corner and does the 10 punches, and he hits a super face buster, which was pretty awesome. Canyon goes to hit Jeff with a flatliner, but Kimberly was out of position because he's just standing there. And then DDP's late for this, but DDP runs in. Kimberly's about to hit Canyon with a guitar shot. DDP's music comes in, and he steals the guitar. He actually then hits Kimberly with a guitar shot. One on when that happened, who was just watching like all this, he got hit in the nuts by Jeff Jarrett. It made everyone look dumb. Jeff goes for the stroke, but DDP hits the diamond cutter, and Canyon pins Jeff and counts the pin. So the winner of the first match is Canyon. So if we're counting tonight, Logan, just keep this in mind. Millionaires Club 1, New Blood 0. It's going to be a very current theme tonight. But all in all, a fun match. And as we've discussed, at times it felt like the feud is fucking Canyon and Jeff Jarrett and not really Canyon and DDP. Because we've seen them battle a lot more than I thought me and you would anticipate. But it was a pretty fun match. Canyon bust out some cool offense. When Jeff threw Canyon into the crowd, your words stuck in my head. This motherfucker loves a brawl through the crowd, without the motherfucker part, of course. But it sadly did not happen. But it was a pretty fun, quick little 3-minute match.
Yeah, I love that they continue to showcase Canyon. Obviously an underrated favorite of both of ours, I think, especially mine. I really love Canyon. Definitely should have been more in the business. I think I say that pretty much every time we talk about him. But him and Jarrett, even Jarrett to this point, still pretty good. I wouldn't say he's gotten quite to that annoying point yet or anything where he's like actively hate watching him be on the screen quite yet. We may get there eventually. But yeah, the new blood takes the L here, even though Jarrett's supposed to be their top guy going for the belt on Sunday. And yeah, like you said, it becomes a reoccurring theme throughout the night. But good to see Canyon get a win. Good to see, or a quote unquote win. I don't want to say it's a technical real win, but he does end up on top here. So that's always good to see.
Yeah, it really is. I know he gets the U.S. title in the invasion angle, but it's like handed to him.
Yeah.
So but he loses.
He gets presented well first, I would say, but I don't know what made them kind of give up on him, but he gets given up on pretty quickly after that.
Yeah, it's absurd. But after the match, DDP and Canyon celebrate. Jeff wakes up and he sees his guitar has been smashed. We go backstage and Russo says, "Big boy, you're up," and he's talking about the wall. We got a commercial break. The wall is out first, and we see highlights of Wall killing people on tables. It's really just Crowbar, but it's awesome. Luger comes out, and we see highlights of the Russo and Luger drama surrounding Liz and how like Liz, it's real bad, guys. Like Russo's basically acting like he owns Liz. It's horrible, but she's always like kicking him in the nuts. It's like some weird kink, embarrassment kink or something. I don't know. But when Luger gets in the ring, Russo's music hits, and out comes Russo, security, and Liz. They no longer have her on the leash thing. They had her on Monday night, which is good. So we have a gimmick within a gimmick match, Logan, as it's Wall versus Lex Luger, a New York Rules tables match. All right.
Which
Wall
they don't announce
Luger
until but halfway through the match on commentary. They didn't really announce it ahead of time, so I was very confused with the tables.
Well, Penzer says it's a tables match when Wall's coming out, but you can't hear it. You can barely hear it because the announcers are talking over him. They're like tables around the ring, But no, they didn't say it. Like it's like the crowd heard it, and like you barely heard it. I had headphones on, and that's why I heard it.
Yeah, I got you.
So yeah. And spoiler alert, not much attention is paid to this match, as I'm about to go over.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
So as I said, Wall jumps Luger when Russo comes out. Wall is choking Luger in the corner. Then Flair music hits. Flair comes out, and Russo looks scared. Flair gets on commentary like Russo was. We see Wall just beating down Luger in the ring with forearms and clubbing shots. Most of the match is just Wall beating down Luger and Russo and Flair talking shit. Wall picks up Luger, and Luger kicks him. Wall starts talking shit to Flair too. I don't know. Wall chokes Luger in the corner. Luger fights out of the Wall and slams him and hits a backbreaker. Then Flair and Russo get into it at commentary, as we're seeing, because we're going back and forth. Luger kicks Wall, then hits a clothesline and another one, and then he hits a flying forearm and then signals for the torture rack. Luger clotheslines Wall out of the ring, and he throws Wall into the guardrail. Luger starts talking shit to Russo, and this allows Wall to get back the advantage and hit Luger. Then out of like nowhere, like I don't know how this happened, but I guess Russo snuck around and hit Flair with a baseball bat. And for some reason, Russo goes to give the bat to the Wall, but Luger gets Wall in the torture rack when this happens. It's like, I don't know, define the laws of gravity with this. So then Russo hits Luger with the bat, and he drops the Wall through the table, and that's how Luger wins. This was a nothing match, a clusterfuck of an ending. They're massacring our boy. We were big Wall marks, Logan. This makes everyone look dumb. Flair looks like an idiot for, of course, getting hit with the bat. Luger's racking the Wall in front of Russo when Russo has a bat, and of course he hits him, and then he drops him through the table, and that's how he wins. So it's like a fuck finish. Millionaires Club 2, New Blood 0. What'd you think of the Russo and Flair show?
Yeah, just absurd to the highest degree. Yeah, that the poor bat shot to Luger. I know Luger has like 800 pounds of muscle in his like abdomen area, but he's completely exposed. He's got Wall in the rack, and he just gets cracked in the midsection with the bat. So I know that had to hurt, despite the fact that he probably had plenty of padding going on there. So, but yeah, this is all about Russo and Flair on commentary. I said the Wall was wearing the 1999 Vince McMahon outfit because he had the black like dress slacks and the like black tank top. So he really had the Vince McMahon 99 outfit on for sure, that he kind of got known for in that era. But yeah, Flair looks kind of stupid. The finish was funny because he's racking him and he gets cracked with the bat, and the Wall just kind of falls off of his back through the side of the table, which was a pretty brutal spot. But yeah, a continued plummet for the Wall. No pun or all pun intended, I'm sure. But yeah, he's just continuing to fall. He was one of our guys early on, and he is definitely on free fall at this point.
Yeah, Sid being out really screwed him because that was going to be his feud, and Sid basically taking his ball and going home per usual. It really fucked him.
I think he would have gotten squashed either way, though. So I don't know if it would have been.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. But then Russo gets on the mic and he gets in the ring and says, "We can do the 5 minutes right now, Flair." Flair gets in the ring and says, "You're a dead man." And then Russo uses Liz as a shield, but she swings her leg behind her and kicks Russo in the nuts and runs away. Flair takes down security, and then he puts Russo in the figure 4. And before he can before he can get it fully cinched in, Buff and Douglas come down and beat down Flair. Wall takes out Luger again. Chronically comes down and beats down the tag champs. My note here, so many fucking things happening because all this was in like 15 seconds, guys. Like it's just crazy. And then after this, like everyone clears the ring. Flair's laying there, and Billy Kidman comes out and he says, "Nature Boy, get your sorry ass up. I drew your name, and tonight I'm gonna make you famous." Just like so much shit happening right there, guys. That's why it's because like it was still one camera shot, quote unquote. So like that's why Logan's counting as part of the 22. I'm assuming, but like it's just like it never. Like Russo has a bad habit of not letting things settle. and not just letting us register what happened. He's always like jump cut, jump cut, jump cut, jump cut, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, so like nothing ever ended really. It kind of flowed into the next segment, so I never really like cut it off. But yeah, another beatdown here. But obviously, like you said, Chronic comes out and makes a save. So yeah, and the new blood at least gets some heat back at the end of the match. But again, they lose match number 2, and kind of look foolish in doing so.
Yeah, like I said, 2-0. Then we have match 3, which we were joined in after the commercial break of Kidman versus Flair. And the first thing we see is Flair chopping Kidman. Kidman reverses an Irish whip, and then he drop kicks Flair, and he goes up top. Kidman hits a nice missile drop kick, and he just punches Flair. Kidman puts Flair on the top rope and actually hits a superplex. It looked like it nearly killed poor Flair. He didn't really get over on it. It looked really bad. Kidman gets up and punches him. Kidman woos and then punches Flair again and that drops him. Kidman sends Flair in the corner, and Flair does the Flair flop. Flair goes running, he chops Kidman, and then Kidman actually kicks Flair. They were on the outside of the ring when this was happening. Kidman throws Flair back in the ring and hits a scoop slam, then hits a guillotine leg drop, which was pretty dope. Kidman yells at the crowd, and then Kidman takes down Flair with punches again. Kidman goes on top and misses a splash. Flair starts strutting and starts working over his Kidman's leg. He then rips Kidman's shirt off, and he chops him. Flair drops Kidman with a punch this time and picked him up and dropped him again with the punch. And then he starts chopping him. Then Ray and Conan come in and they beat down Flair. Wolfpack music hits and Nash comes down. For some reason, like Ray and Conan run into each other looking like they're fucking idiots in like a Scooby-Doo show.
When they're
trying to run the ring. Yeah. So Nash takes out both men. Kidman is bailed because he's actually smart. Nash jackknifes Conan. Kidman's about to walk to the backstage area, but Hogan starts beating down Kidman. Tony calls him Terry Bollea. So I'm going to call him Terry Bollea, but then he switches it back to Hogan quickly. I don't know. It's confusing. Bollea throws Kidman in the ring, and actually Ray saves Kidman. Then Mike Awesome's music hits, and he comes down. He tries to take on both Hogan and Nash. Good job, buddy. But he eats a double boot, and then Nash powerbombs Awesome. The Millionaire Club celebrate. Nash gets on the mic and says, "I hate to inform you, the winner of the match due to outside interference is Mike Awesome." That's a lie. And we'll get to the next part soon. But yeah, Millionaires Club 3, New Blood 0. And just somehow like 5 Millionaires Club got squashed right there, Logan. Sorry, 4. 4 New Blood got squashed there. Conan, Ray, Awesome, and fucking Kidman. But it was a little entertaining to say the least. Like, so much shit is happening.
Yeah. I feel like Nash is a real divide in the road on this storyline, because I feel like at this point he was just like, I'm the top guy. I'm not going to put anybody over. And that's just how it's going to be. Because I don't really think he's wrestled all that much in a while, especially since this has started. He's been in a lot of segments, but hasn't really wrestled in matches because he's been hurt, I think. And obviously I think he's just getting healthy and kind of coming back. But Nash and Hogan are very clearly like, we're the top guys. We're not putting anybody over. And this storyline was never going to work because they're they seem to be very anti this new generation. And I understand Kidman's probably not the guy that's going to be the star of the future or anything like that, but they don't do him or Awesome. And obviously Ray and Conan, I don't think they're either of those guys are the future either, but they really just put 4 guys away very easily and just make them look foolish. So this is a real bad segment for the New Blood and their chances of ever being any more than they probably already are at this point in the storyline.
Oh, it's dwindling rapidly, Logan. As I said, it's 3-0 already tonight. I don't think it's going to get any better because we see Vampiro talking to himself backstage. It says he'll show Dallas Page some pain. We take a commercial break, and then we see Nash destroying everyone. And then it looks like Courtney Cox is in the crowd, but they don't bring attention to her, which I thought was interesting. DDP comes out. Vampiro's out next, so match 4 is DDP versus Vampiro. I guess there was like a production cue because it looked like someone had a sheet over their head trying to hide, but then I thought it was Vampiro, but it's Sting. It was weird. He attacks Vampiro as he comes out. They fight near Thunder Vision or Turnertron, whatever the hell it's called. Sting beats up Vampiro, and then he pours the red liquid on Vampiro. Okay, and then Sting drags Vampiro to the ring and throws him in the ring. DDP picks up Vampiro and hits a diamond cutter, and he pins him, and it's over. That was like just an ass whooping, like total burial. I got the thing as New Blood's 0-3-1. I guess I counted the last match as a no contest, so I'll keep it as that. So Millionaires Club 3, New Blood 0, tie 1. And that was just a complete squash of Vampiro. Like, goddamn. Like, even I felt bad for him, and we had to put up with him on Lucha, Logan. But this was just nothing. It was just Sting beating the ever-loving shit out of Vampiro.
Yeah. Vamp is another one. I would say him and Billy Kidman are the two biggest crimes in this storyline so far. Billy and Vamp just don't get over at any point, because even the one time Vamp does get over in the graveyard, Sting immediately comes back and gets his heat back, which, he's the face, I get, but like you gotta let the bad guy win at some point. I think he kind of won, quote unquote, the night with the red liquid that they covered Sting, but that was with like him and 8 other guys. He's not getting any wins. He's not ending any of these like solo segments with him and Sting up on top. And he just looks like a fool every turn that they go around. But yeah, you were talking about before the segment, they definitely like came back to commercial quicker than they anticipated, or didn't send Sting out quite quickly enough or something like that, because he was definitely supposed to be like already hidden, and we actually watched him hide himself as Vampire was about to come out. So definitely a snafu there. But yeah, Vamp just looks like a boob big time.
Yeah, and it was so bad that even when Vampiro, quote unquote, got a win over Sting in the graveyard match, and they were like, he killed Sting, and then it was like Vampiro walked away, and 30 seconds later, Sting was already rising from the grave and then beat his ass that night. So it's like, Jesus Christ, like, what are we doing, guys? Like, So we take a commercial break. The New Blood is arguing backstage. Russo calls them a bunch of losers, says Eric, and wants Eric to do something. We see the Millionaire Club and their allies celebrating. Flair says we will show them tonight. And then Mike Awesome comes out. He's selling the power bomb. He keeps holding his back and has a mic and says, well, I drew Sting's name out of the boot. Says Stinger, you can come from the front door, the back door, the side door, the rafters. Fly your Batman ass out of here. Sting's music hits and the lights flicker, and then Sting comes from the entrance ramp. This leads us to match 5. Mike Awesome versus Sting. Mike Awesome jumps Sting when he gets in the ring, hits a clothesline in the corner. Awesome slams Sting, hits just a splash, just a running splash, and he gets a no count because Awesome wasn't able to tap his hands. Awesome is selling his back. Sting starts punching Awesome and gets 10 punches in the corner. Sting hits an atomic drop and throws Awesome out of the ring. And then like we see some misfits in action in the front row, which is Van Hammer, Lash LaRue, and Chavo, and he's yelling at them ringside, and they all jump the ramp, jump over the guardrail and beat down Mike Awesome. We were told that they were fired on Monday, if you guys forgot. Awesome is thrown in the ring. Stingland hits 2 Stinger splashes and puts him in the Scorpion Deathlock. Sting's music actually hits before Awesome taps, so all type of production issues. He finally taps and Sting gets up. Just as I told you, they massacred our boy Logan. My boy Mike Awesome. We loved him, but like just another fucking ass whooping. Like 0-4-1 now, guys. Like good job. Like just fucking wonderful. This is just a nothing match. I will say Awesome did a good job selling his back to be like, hey, I was already hurt going into this, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, that was a good touch. But yeah, he got his ass beat earlier. Pretty much gets his ass beat here. He is outmanned. I'll give him that. The MIA does get involved. Does this kind of attack. But like you said, he does come in kind of hurt. So Sting just kind of takes advantage of that, gets him to tap to the Deathlock. So, but yeah, doesn't do Awesome any favors. He should be a guy at the top of the top of the lineup for the new blood going forward. And again, just immediately seeing him get just absolutely squashed and not look good in any way. He's been one of the stronger people, I would say. I feel like he's been presented well. He's gotten over on Hogan a couple of times, and he even might be the only person that's kind of gotten over on Nash so far. So, yeah, he's been one of the stronger points. We'll talk about another guy soon that I think's been one of the stronger sides of the new blood. But yeah, he's had a bad night for sure.
Yeah, just terrible. So then we take a commercial break. We come back, and Russo is yelling at the new blood again. He puts his hand on Scott, and Scott says, "Don't touch me." He says, "I'll do it for me and not for you." Scott Steiner's music hits, and out comes him, Deja, and Shakira. Scott gets a little mic, talks about old man talking about a spot. Scott says hearing him say that makes him puke red and yellow, which is amazing. Scott says his spot is coming to beat the hell out of Hogan tonight. He said that he will then go down to Florida and prove it to Hogan's wife, and she will call him the big bad booty daddy. Hogan's music hits, and match 6, and we Scott Steiner versus Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea. They're calling him both names, guys. And we see the red liquid on Hogan for Monday. Hogan slides in, and Scott beats down Hulk. Scott Irish whips Hogan, but Hogan ducks a clothesline, and he hits punches of his own and then his own clothesline. Scott rolls out of the ring, and Hogan follows him outside. He throws him into the crowd, and they start actually fighting in the crowd. Hugh Morris then comes and helps Hogan beat down Scott. Then they drag Scott to the ring, and they continue their beatdown. Then Scott gets a double nut shot of his own and then hits a double clothesline, and he calls for the new blood to come out, but they don't. Hogan and Hugh continue to beat down Scott. Scott leaves the ring, and you can audibly hear him say, "Fuck you," as he's leaving. So 0-4-2, Logan. Like, at least they had enough common sense to not bury Scott Steiner tonight.
Yeah, again, he like I was saying about Awesome, Steiner's been one of the kind of highlights of the new blood thus far. He seemed to have gotten a few more wins than maybe other people have, but even again, and Russo kind of throws in the towel, says, "Steiner, you're our last hope. Go get Hogan right now." So Russo about halfway through the show is already throwing in the towel. I actually started to check the time I had left on the episode because I was like, "There's no way this is almost over already," because it was humming along. It felt like, but I did notice that it was about halfway through the show, and I was like, "Yeah, they're in for a rough night." But yeah, I mean, obviously,
just you wait, Logan.
Yeah, no kidding. But continuing to kind of push Hugh Morris as somebody who's going to go after Steiner is a good thing to see. I don't really just love Hugh Morris or anything like that, but he is a new talent despite him not being in the new blood for some reason. But yeah, Hogan obviously ends up on top pretty easily here, and Steiner's pissed that nobody came out to help him.
Yeah, not a happy man. So we commercial break. When we go backstage to the new blood, Eric's on the phone with someone and says to get here now. Scott comes in, he starts yelling at Russo and Eric and says, "Where were you?" and says, "Screw both of you guys." We take another commercial break. Another limo pulls up, and the license plate says FUNB. And Tony's like, "What do you think that means?" And Bobby like makes fun of him for it. It was pretty good. Then you can tell Tony got angry with that. Buff's music hits, and then Shane Douglas music hits, and he comes out carrying both titles. Then Shane and Buff hold up both belts, and then Chronic music hits. And we got match 7, Chronic versus Buff and Shane. I put for the tag titles in question mark, as we'll see. This is a tornado tag. Buff is thrown out of the ring. Chronic then double team Shane. Brian Clark runs the ropes. Buff pulls the rope down. So Buff and Brian Clark fight in the aisle. Shane hits a snapmare on Brian Adams. This is just basic brawling from all 4. Then we see Brian Adams actually hit an F5 on Shane, which was pretty impressive. Tony then announces 2 more matches for Slamboree with Kurt Hennig versus Son Stasiak and Scott Steiner versus Hugh Morris for the U.S. title. This was after Tony was basically saying the feuds carry more about the title, so way to value all your titles there, dumbass. Brian Clark hits a side suplex on Buff. Shane hits Brian Adams with the belt. Bufflin hits a blockbuster on Brian Clark. This gets a 2. I don't know how they slow count their own people, but whatever. This happened because Brian Adams broke up the pin. Adams ducks a belt shot and hits a a double clothesline. Brian Clark throws out Buff, and then they hit a high time and actually get 3. I don't know if this is a title change. Both hold up the title belts and leave with them. So it's like, maybe we have a title change. I guess we'll have to find out on Slamboree, Logan. But this was just like god awful. Just the basics of basic shit. You there?
Yeah, you cut out there for a second. Sorry. But yeah, I don't know if it was a title change or not. I was actually starting to look it up, but I guess I'll put it off for a minute. Yeah, Chronic I thought looked impressive here, as I think they've been so far. Doesn't get a ton of time or anything like that, but they get the big win, whether it's for the titles or not. I guess we'll, like you said, we'll figure it out when we get to the pay-per-view. But yeah, I think, as far as the tag team division, there's not a ton going on there. And they seem to have an act that's kind of over with Chronic. Continue to just come out and just lay guys out completely. So yeah, I've enjoyed Chronic so far. Hopefully they continue to kind of push them the way they have been, and I think they've got something.
Yeah, it's just so dumb. If there's no rules, there should be no title changes. But Shane and Buff have done nothing since winning the titles. Nothing. So
100%.
There you go. So Eric is hyping up everyone and says, "You have to trust me." Says, "This is easy. This is a war. This is our war." A commercial break. We see a bus pull up, and then we see the New Blood walking backstage with weapons like tire irons, bats, all types of stuff. They're all coming to the ring. Eric leads the troops out. Eric is on the mic and says Russo has Liz where he wants her, so she's not out here. Russo looks defeated. Eric says it's real simple. We have a lot in common, but Russo is a hothead. Me, on the other hand, I like to think things through. Eric says millionaire clubs, you try to do this the right way. We try to do a level playing field, but you guys want guerrilla warfare. I think that's a great idea. Eric says you want it. You got it. Ric Flair's music hits, and he comes out with all the millionaire club. Eric says you are looking at the future Nature Boy. I don't know why he said that, but whatever. Talking about looking at there. Yeah, sorry. I'm tired, guys. Eric says it's 11 of us and 11 of you. You're looking at the winners. Flair says you are looking at greatness and tradition. Flair says we have nothing left to prove. Eric says we can do a battle. Flair says we can do a battle royal right now. Whoever wins gets a world title shot at Great American Bash. So this leads us to match 8 with the battle royal, with winner getting the world title shot at Great American Bash. Everyone starts fighting. The New Blood has weapons, and it's somehow even fighting. But we see like all the refs, all the people that are feuding, they basically pair off. We have refs now as they are coming down. This is just comic battle royal shit. It's just like battling, punching, and kicking and everything, because there's 22 fucking people in the ring, Logan, and there's
way more people in 22 in there too. There's so many fucking people in that ring.
Well,
I know
it's about to yeah, but it's about to heat up. And then Tenay says probably the truest thing that's ever happened in WCW. He said logic doesn't exist in WCW. I just said so true.
No kidding.
And then other wrestlers start running out. The Harris Dorks, who we haven't seen, the Mamalukes with Disco, Harlem's Heat music hits, and they come out. Norman Smiley comes out. They start beating down the Millionaires Club. So the Millionaires Club it's now supposed to be like 19 on 11 or something. Who knows? Horace Hogan is the first person eliminated. The ring is packed. Tank Abbott comes down with his Goldberg shirt on. We see Flares attack Douglas with a steel pipe. They're battling like inside and outside the ring. We see Canyon is eliminated by Mike Awesome. My note here is so many goddamn people. And then Kurt Hennig is eliminated. 3 members of the Millionaire Club are gone so far. So, you got to believe it's like 22-8 now. And then Scott Steiner starts yelling at the refs, tells them to shut the hell up. Tony says it's 20-8. Chronic gets eliminated. We have a commercial break, so it's like 20-6. Buff Bagwell then gets eliminated, and Luger follows him out of the ring. Sting eliminates himself and Vampiro. Hugh and Scott Steiner are eliminated. Sting and Vampiro fight near Turner Vision, as Tony calls it. Then the Misfits in Action come down to help as well. Medusa and Asia come down. Tony keeps calling Asia Mona. Hammer is eliminated. Mona finally comes down and attacks Medusa. Hacksaw Jim Duggan's music hits and he comes out. For some reason, he's still a fucking janitor. He attacks New Blood and eliminates Chris Candido. And he eliminates Bam Bam. And then Tank eliminates Norman Smiley and Duggan eliminates Tank. So Duggan eliminates himself. Way to job out Tank after hyping him up for so long. Somehow Duggan has the most eliminations so far. We go back to the limo and the door opens and it's revealed to be ... We literally just see the fucking legs watching. And then like the person finally gets to like where they're coming out the entrance and it's fucking Macho Man who looks like he's on the same drugs as Scott Steiner. He's so fucking yoked. New Blood looks scared. He attacks all the New Blood. He hits double X handles on everyone. He eliminates Awesome, Wall, and Stasiak, and then Chris Candido. And then Savage eliminates himself, and he goes to the middle rope and fights Chris Candido. So Savage is the one who eliminates the most people. Spoiler alert. Jarrett and DDP then eliminate each other. They actually battle over the top rope. Somehow we're just stuck with Kidman, Hogan, and Flair and Franchise left. Jarrett and DDP eliminate themselves and fight in the aisle. Yes, they eliminate each other, as I said. And then Bret Hart comes out and he hits Hogan with a chair. Hogan then leaves through the middle rope and Bret leaves. Flair throws Kidman into the ropes and Hogan pulls down the rope, so Kidman's out. And then we see Jeff, Jarrett, and DDP fight near Thunder Vision. Russo comes out and runs down and hits Douglas with a bat instead of Flair, despite Flair having Douglas in the figure four. Flair literally rolls over and Russo somehow fucking misses Ric Flair and hits Douglas. I said Russo is a fuck up tonight, more than usual. Flair then gets the bat, hits Douglas with the bat, and eliminates Douglas, so Flair wins. And then Tony's like, it could be Flair versus Jeff Jarrett, Flair versus DDP, or Flair versus Arquette at Great American Bash. And pardon me, the sicko in me, Logan, is kind of hoping Arquette retains it to the Great American Bash, just so I can see Flair, see if he can fucking work in a clinic. While this is happening, guys, so much fucking shit happens. Hogan is trying to put Kidman through the announce table, but he's hit by Eric, which we see a little bit of. And then we see DDP and Jeff fighting up Thunder Vision, like they're working the way up. And I guess then David Arquette then comes out, but we only see a glimpse of him because he falls through the gimmick shit. We literally see him like just fall on the ground. Like, what the fuck happens? Savage then goes after Eric and checks on Hogan. And then we're told that Jeff threw DDP off of Thunder Vision, but we don't see it. We just see Jeff celebrating. What a clusterfuck, Logan. Like, you guys, like, you need to go. I don't even think, go on the network. This is December 16th, 2025. You have 15 days. This actually, you're going to have like 6 days when this comes out. Spoiler alert. Go on fucking Peacock, on the cock, and watch the ending of this. What I described, I tried my best to take notes on this. Logan, I felt like this is you doing a lucha match, except that there's actually fucking moves. So much shit was happening. I was just like, I got to pare it down. Like, this is insane right here. It's like so much shit happens, you miss half of it. This goes back to Light Out and Breathe. DDP takes a fucking bump for no reason that no one saw.
Yep.
It's insane.
Yeah, May 3rd, 2000. Check it out while you still have time. While the WCW feeds are on the cock still. But yeah, God bless you for taking as many notes as you did on this thing, because it was just a mess. There were so many people in the fucking ring at some points. It was hard to even tell anybody was even doing anything. It just looked like a bunch of guys just standing there a lot of the time. I used the Sean Kidd sponsored 10-second button quite a few times in this main event because it was just so hard to follow, and there were so many people. And you can't even, I think we kind of know where the pay-per-view is going to go, or we kind of have a loose idea of where the world title is going to kind of go at the pay-per-view. So I guess you couldn't put a New Blood guy over here, because I think you're probably going to end up with a New Blood guy as the champion after the Triple Cage. Just have a feeling on that one. So, you're not going to put over one of the New Blood guys, but this seems like an easy way to maybe beat a Flair or a Hogan or something like that without actually having to beat them. And I guess they thought Brett was coming back at this point, because he's still hanging around. He's still the ace in the hole for Bischoff, it seems like, because I feel like that's the guy he called to come in and kind of help out. And yeah, this is the end of Savage. We see Savage one last time, and I'm pretty sure he's gone after this. So, yeah, you know, we'll see. I mean, I don't think he pops back up, but we'll see if we see him again. But it seems like a real random person to bring back in just to kind of float back out. So we'll see if Brett hangs around a little bit more, or if they kind of figure out that his diagnosis is something he's not going to be able to come back from.
Yeah, I don't even think Flair faces him at Great American Bash. The world champ.
Really? Sounds about right.
Like I bought that paper. I have a story for that pay-per-view when we get to it, but that's the last episode of pay-per-view I bought. And I'll tell the story when we get there. But I don't even think it happens. So like maybe it does. Maybe like it.
It does.
It's
not.
just so asinine.
It doesn't.
Yeah. So maybe he gets the title shot on, you know, a Saturday night fucking show or something. But it's batshit. Like so much shit happens. Like they missed 2 of the 3 big things. Like,
yeah,
I will say, fuck it. They should have just brought Randy back. Fuck it. Like whatever they were doing, just fuck it. Just bring him back. Who cares, right? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he could wrestle, but you know, somehow he eliminates the most people. Brett, I'm pretty sure had already been told he couldn't wrestle anymore. So like, I don't know why they're like. So like, I guess they're trying to get their money's worth with him, but like, you know, he would be pretty good if like he sent goons after Hogan, which would have been pretty interesting. Like he'd be the mouthpiece or something, you know. But oh my god, like the ending to this was fucking just insane. Like just so much shit happened.
Yeah,
and
you
like,
need to watch it. Yeah, I was just say this is one of those things that's hard to describe. It's insane. And not.
And I try to do my best with it.
No, you did great.
But the guys, this went 16 minutes. This whole thing went 16 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I know Battle Royals needed to have some time, but damn, when like most of the time it's just these guys like battling, like basic, like battle. Like when you listen to wrestler podcasts, and they're like, yeah, when my first couple of matches were Battle Royals, that's why. Because you can just forearm each other, and that's all it was. Like, no rhyme or reason to any of this. But like, not really a good hype for the pay-per-view that's happening in 4 days either. Like, David Arquette's not even really there. We see him just fucking fall through the thing. He doesn't even show up on a backstage vignette. It's like, all right. Like, Courtney Cox was there, didn't even shout her out in the crowd. But yeah, like our next show will be, you know, Slamboree from the Kemper Arena. Triple Cage, you know, ready to rumble. But yeah, it's crazy. But before we get out of there, let's roll through the stuff. The only title that we think might have changed hands was the tag titles. So we still have David Arquette as the world.
It did not. So I did check.
Okay. All right. So thank you for that.
It does change soon, I'll say, but it did not change tonight.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'm updating stuff on the fly now. So,
Sorry.
But yeah, so no, that's fine. So like, if you guys don't remember who the champions are, let me just roll through there. And that is David Arquette is the world champ. Scott Steiner is the U.S. champ. Tag champ, Shane Douglas and Buff. Cruiserweight champ is Candido. And the hardcore champ is MIA, missing in action, Terry Funk. For most absurd, I got the New York Rules.
The Battle Royal. The whole thing.
Yeah. What was good, I have a cohesive storyline for the night.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And what was bad is new blood looking like jokes.
Yeah, I don't think I ever said it, but this is the absolute death of the new blood. They looked awful all night, just got completely squashed at every turn. I think that was kind of the point, but that's not what you need to do at this point in the storyline. They are struggling at this point to begin with. They need some wins. They better win a lot at the pay-per-view is all I'll say. But we'll see. I'm not filled with hope.
Me either. I've never seen that pay-per-view, Logan, so it's going to be nice. So we had 8 matches tonight, 0 clean finishes. There we go. 0 pole matches, or 5 pole matches overall. I lied about how many fucking pole matches Russo would have. I guess that might be a summer thing when Bischoff leaves, Logan. We did have, somehow, despite having 8 matches, we had 9 gimmick matches because we had a gimmick match within a gimmick match. Some Inception shit. So we had 9 gimmick matches tonight. That brings us to 113 total. 1 guitar shot tonight, which brings us to 34 total. I thought that would go up. That might go up, Logan. 22 different things happening, which is a low, but like we said, it's kind of crazy shit going on.
And other things, kind of like the gimmick within the gimmick.
Yes. We're still at 46 titles changing overall. I have a feeling that's going to change soon. But like, if you have an hour and a half to kill, watch the show just to see the asinine stuff there for it. But you got anything else left to say, Logan?
No, like I said, this, they could recover it at the pay-per-view, but the new blood's going to have to come out strong. This storyline's on fumes. I think it could have worked if you could have presented them a little stronger, but they just don't. I don't know if the older guys have a particular want for any of those guys to be presented any better than they are either, but I think it's just a holistic problem. They went into this storyline and didn't really have the idea that the guys that were always around weren't going to win still in the long run. So I think they dove into this without much of a plan, and it's fallen apart on them pretty quickly.
Yes, it is, Logan. Yes, it is. Like, we're not even a month in, and it's already like falling apart. So we'll have to see if they can rectify it at Slamboree and then next night at Nitro. But yeah, this brings us into another episode of Are You Smarter Than Vince Russo's WCW? In 2 weeks, we are tackling Slamboree 2000, and we will have a special co-host. That person is James Grunberg. So Grooney will be on the show discussing which, because this kid's a sicko, might be his favorite pay-per-view of all time. We'll have to ask him, Logan. But, for Scott Shiflett, he's Logan Crossland. If you're listening to this around Christmas time, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. If you're not, just pretend it's Christmas time whenever you listen to it. Have a good one.
Bye.